When I decided that I was going to tell him that I wanted a divorce, I texted my therapist, our marriage counselor, and I was like, I need to tell him that I want a divorce, but I want to do it in a session so that there's like a mediator present. Got us in like ASAP, like 2 days later. And I walked in knowing that I was going to ask for a divorce. And so we sit down in our session. It's like really tense, really awkward. My ex was sitting there like, so why do we have an emergency session? The therapist was like, Jamie, do you want to start? And I just started crying. And I was like, I want a divorce. It's hard for me to like say the words. I was like, I'm done. I want a divorce. He sat there quiet. I'm sitting next to him crying. He didn't move. He didn't look at me. He didn't react at all. He just was stone cold. And eventually our therapist was like, would you like to respond? So he responded right away and he's like, fine, let's.
What makes this moment stand out is the completely different way they handled the situation. One person seemed to expect a heated reaction while the other stayed calm and refused to create a scene. Sometimes the strongest response is simply staying composed, accepting what happened, and moving forward without unnecessary drama.
And I just was like, I looked at my therapist and I was just like kind of stunned. Like I knew that I was ready to leave that day, but I couldn't believe that that was his reaction. There was no empathy. There was no compassion. There was no like wanting to fight for us, which I didn't think that there would be, but you just always hope that like one last try, We went home that night. We didn't speak. He slept on the couch. I woke up and went to work the next day, came home. He was playing PlayStation that night. I sat next to him. We hadn't talked in 24 hours. And I said, can we talk about what happened yesterday? And he was just playing, just looking straight ahead. And he was like, what's to talk about? In my mind, I'm thinking, this is our last ditch effort to like steer this ship around, And I was like, so what are we going to do? And he just kept playing. And he was like, I already got an apartment. I already took my name off of the lease. He had done things within that 24 hours. He had opened up the filing folder of his single man life and went ahead and.
After the divorce, she expected him to struggle and chase after her. Instead, he stayed composed and began rebuilding his life without looking back. She wanted an emotional reaction, but he accepted the change and moved forward. The biggest surprise was realizing he had already moved on.
12-year marriage because she had ChatGPT analyze her husband's coffee grounds, and it told her that he was. I only wish I was kidding. According to Greek City Times, she snapped a pic of her husband's leftover coffee grounds in the bottom of his mug, uploaded it to ChatGPT, and asked the AI to read them like some sort of cheater with a younger woman whose name starts with the letter E. But the wife was not playing around. Told him to leave, told the kids that mom and dad are getting divorced, and when the husband refused to accept this separation, she hit him with chatbot reading your coffee mug is the final straw. The coffee ground, it's not a psychic, it's not a therapist, and it's not even
I'm going to actually post this because this is super vulnerable for me, and I'm a pretty open person. But earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends and my family because I hadn't told anybody, okay? I walked myself through the logistics of where would I live, how would we split the time with the kids, who gets the dog, where all of those things, okay? Had a full breakdown. I feel like I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years. There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. Let me be very clear about that. He is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet. And that is probably the reason why I have not left. Okay? Our relationship and what my expectations are for my marriage and what they always happen are not met, right? Which I don't know if anybody's are. The reason that pushed me to even bring up divorce and talk about it was the fact that I feel like I can't be myself.
She already has a loving family and a husband she considers loyal, hardworking, and caring. Yet she still feels that something is missing. Sometimes people become focused on finding something different and fail to recognize the value of what they already have.
I'm 32 years old. I am a mom of 3, and I still don't know who I am. So for me to be like, oh, I can't be myself, or you don't love me for who I am, isn't really fair because I don't know who I am. Of course, I could get a divorce and try to go find the love that I'm craving with somebody else. But that's going to come with its own hardships, its own complications, and ones that I'm not willing to take on, right? I love Ryan. He is the best father, okay? I just need to learn how to explain what I need from him in our relationship, and he needs to be able to give that, and I need to be doing the same for him so that we can both, like, in 10 years from now, in the next 10 years, look back and say, like, we put in the work and we finally have the marriage and the relationship that we have always wanted.
The comments showed that many viewers could relate to this situation. Some shared stories about leaving good partners, while others believed there may have been more happening behind the scenes. The reactions highlight the difficult